Hi guys, I'm Alexandros Chiastos and I'm kind of obsessed with bike maintenance. Also, you may have seen me tuning the wheels of my bikes in my Instagram bike maintenance stories, and you may have noticed that I use a strange custom dial indicator holder that I use every time I want to check the amount of out-of-trueness before and after my wheel trimming procedure. That's actually a tool that I built many years ago, and I love it as it allows me to perform my occasional wheel trimming routine without removing my wheels from the frame, and so not to use a wheel trimming stand. This is actually quite helpful, as having this tool allows me to perform quick checks and adjustments on my wheels almost every time I'm about to ride my bike. Today I'm going to share with you how I build this tool using parts you can buy online. Okay, first of all, I know that you can do the same job much cheaper using cable ties or just any tool to indicate if your wheel is out of true, but I built this as I wanted to have a more accurate indication regarding the actual profile of my wheel, so as to judge whether I have to make it true or not. In order to build this tool, I didn't start from scratch. Actually, I already mentioned that almost everything were off-the-shelf parts that you can find on eBay or Amazon. So I got a friction arm for dial indicators, a crab clamp, and of course my trusty Mito Tokyo dial indicator. Note that the actual resolution of this dial indicator is an overkill for wheel trimming, as it can indicate positional changes up to 100th of a millimeter, but despite that I personally really like it. The tricky part for this build was to make an adapter to fit the arm of the clamp. The problem was that the arm had an M5 male screw connection and the clamp had either a 3/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch female screw connections. Thus I made the 3/8 of an inch male to an M5 female screw adapter, and everything came together perfectly. For this reason I used this photography related threaded adapter that I had laying around, and I modified it so as to meet our needs. I did this modification of this adapter by drilling and threading the required M5 screw on a lathe. Having everything ready, it's time for the final assembly, and we're ready to check our new custom wheel trimming indicator holder. Before using, let's talk a little bit about the specs of this tool. It's capable of being mounted on bike tubing that has a maximum diameter of more than 40 mm, and this allows it to be safely mounted on my forks and chainstays. Also, over the years that I use this tool, I noticed that the rubber pads tend to slip and make it harder to secure the clamp or the bike tubing. So I removed the cheap rubber pads and I dipped the tips of the clamp into rubber so as to create a nice and long-lasting rubber coating. Finally, it's ready for some wheel trimming action, and as you can see, the use of a dial indicator makes it much more easier to check the direction and the amount of wheels out of trueness. Every time the indicator's value increases means that the rim is closer to the indicator side and vice versa. I have to admit that this tool makes wheel trimming much easier, as you can directly assess the condition of your wheels, and it has to be said that it can be used to check both the lateral and the radial amount of out of trueness. Okay, that's it for today, and I would like to learn about your preferred method to check the out of trueness of a wheel. Next time we're going to see this tool in action, as this wheel really needs maintenance, and thus we're going to discuss more about wheel trimming. So if you like this video, smash the like button, and in case you are new to our channel, subscribe and hit the notifications bell so as to get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Until then, make sure your bikes are well maintained.